Today we're going to be doing illuminated letters, which is based off the illuminated manuscripts from the Middle Ages. So hopefully you've already looked at some images of medieval manuscript letters. We're going to get inspired by those and now begin to do our own. To begin, I want you to grab your ruler and a pencil. I'm going to be using a pen just so you can see what I'm doing a little bit easier. You're going to be having your paper be portrait. That means that the shorter side is at the top and the long side is at the side. First, we're going to be creating a box to do our letter in. So you're going to take your ruler and simply create a tall rectangle in order to draw our letter within those edges. We don't want to have the letter go all the way to the edge of the white paper because that would, number one, be very big. But it's also easier to color in when we have a nice border to do with that within. There we go. So right now we have a single box. I'm actually going to take my ruler and make it look kind of like a frame. This is going to give us a nice thick edge and make our drawing look more complete and a nice finished space to stop on there. So now you're going to have kind of like a double rectangle, a border. Now your next decision is what letter are you going to do for your illuminated letter? You can pick any letter of the alphabet that you choose. I'm going to be doing the letter A, and I'm going to show you how to do this to make it a thick letter, not a single line letter. And I'll show you what I mean right now. I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to do the letter A inside of my box. So right now I'm just going to use single lines to do this. Like that. But I actually want the letter to be about as thick as 2 fingers. So I'm going to have to do a double line next to the lines I've already done. I'm going to take my ruler and create a secondary line that's nice and wide from where I put my first line. Now obviously I'm doing mine in pen, but you're doing yours in pencil. So after you have double lines on your letter, you're going to go ahead and erase all of these extra lines in between those. Now that you have your letter drawn, it's time to make it a little bit more fancy. Let's go ahead and go to all the ends of it and add some embellishment. So on mine, I'm going to have it flare out like that. If you think about different fonts on a computer, sometimes the letters look different. They look a little bit fancier or more special. So now we can go in and design our letter to look unique and embellished. You have an embellished letter. Now we're going to go ahead and embellish the negative space. So right now our letter is our positive space, and the background between these spaces is the negative space. Start with one of the negative spaces that you have around your letter and begin to design what kind of lines or shapes, plants, animals, whatever you want to do. We're going to start doing some designs in that negative space. To begin, I think I'm going to do some vines and some leaves on mine. So I'll take my pencil and begin designing some type of design in mine. And I would continue on and I would add lots of leaves or lots of whatever designs I'd like to. And I'd keep going with that. In my second space, I'm going to do something, I could do something very similar, or I could do something different. So right now in this space, I'll show you more of an abstract design, meaning it doesn't look like anything realistic. It looks more just like a series of lines and shapes all together. So for that one, I think I'll do some straight lines And again, I'm just designing it kind of whatever comes to mind, whatever shapes, whatever patterns. I'm just going to add those in there. And I think I'll also go ahead and do some vertical lines this way. You're not going to be copying my designs. You're going to be doing your own designs that you come up with. I'm simply showing you how we go in that negative space and begin designing in those spaces that our letter creates. It can be completely whatever you want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish my third and my fourth negative space while you begin your negative spaces on your drawing. So you can see now that any space around my letter between the letter and the border is now filled in. If you want to, you can add some embellishment to your letter. However, if you feel like the background is already very busy, then you can leave the letter just as it is in order to keep it simple, a place for the eye to rest. For my letter, I think I want to add a bit of a border just to separate it more from the background. So in order to do that, I'll take my ruler again and just create that double line around the inside edge just to give it a little bit more separation from that really busy background and help make that letter stand out. There we go. So if there's any extra pencil lines that you don't need, use your eraser to clean up some of those areas where you have overlapping lines that you need to take care of. Now that you have your letter drawn and embellished with your designs, it's time to color it. You can use paints and a paintbrush, you can use colored pencils, and either way, you're going to have to really think about your color choices. So I have my colored pencils all picked out. What I want to make sure though is that my letter is able to stand out from my background. So if I use the same colors on my letter as my background, they'll both kind of look the same. It won't stand out. So I'm going to be making sure that whatever colors I choose to use on my letter, I'm not using much in my background. In that way, it will contrast and allow your letter to be the focus. So go ahead now and choose your colors and choose either whether you're using paint or pencil, and begin now to color in your illuminated letter. Once you're done with that, then your illuminated letter is all done. Good job.